Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. I'm Terry Fluid, joined by Chris today. What an exciting, exhilarating end to that game of football. Madness. I mean, absolute madness. Weak red cards. A little bit of card. You can understand Southampton losing their minds. They know they're getting relegated. They led the game. They pulled themselves back into it. Super Danny Welbeck. Literally, you've seen the best and the worst of that player today. We're going to discuss all of that with you and take your calls on 0203 606 0315. Before you do that, please download the OneFootball app for us. Massively important. It really does support the channel if you do that. But it's also a great, free of charge, I will add, application for you to keep up to date with scores, statistics, football news in general. Transfer season's on the way as well. So you want to get that downloaded already for that. Got a special offer coming up for you all a little bit later on as well, especially if you're after some shirts for the World Cup, namely England, if you're an England fan like me. So keep tuned for that. But Chris, straight away, I mean, how would you summarise that performance from your team, Arsenal, today?
Very typical. Clearly a superior side when Arsenal want to be. However, there's this sense that sometimes we get a bit indulgent in terms of the football that we can play, especially when we're on top. I don't want to say that Southampton are in a false position at this point during the season, because I feel like if you're fighting relegation, that's indicative of the kind of season that you're having. But at the same time, they have enough quality there, and there's enough of a structure there where they can be a threat to any team when they're playing anywhere close to what they can do. So whilst, Arsenal got very complacent, at the same time, it's like you're still facing a team that are capable of doing good things. And they got back into it, and it wasn't a lucky goal. It was a very well-worked goal, and it was in the middle of a good spell of pressure from Southampton. And it was coming to a degree. However, we were saying it that Arsenal can switch it on at any point, especially against sides that are quite clearly inferior to them. Welbeck should have had the goal, obviously.
Yeah, that miss from like 5 yards out. I mean, you're sort of sitting there thinking, after such a great start from the boy, if the game would have ended 2-2 or worse for Arsenal, that moment, that miss for Welbeck would be the standout moment in this game. Beyond his touch for Aubameyang's goal, beyond his first goal, which was brilliant. So kind of glad that he popped up at the far post. And although he's an Arsenal player, he's from the United Academy. So I've always got a slight, unless his goal damages my team now, I'm always happy when it's Danny Welbeck. I'd rather Danny Welbeck scored than any other Arsenal player, but they got over the line. And the end of that game, I mean, can you understand, what are your views on the red card? Do you think it was a right decision by the ref?
Let's just talk about just how hilarious it is that Wilshere was the one who completely started, he set pace. He started that whole thing off, and by the end of it, he was doing the peacemaking thing and ushering on any off. Listen, it depends on how you want to kind of see the game in terms of officiating. Do I go strictly by the laws of the game? Or do I kind of use a bit of human judgment, for better or for worse, in terms of how I'm kind of putting that together? I see that unless it's something that is so clearly offensive, so things like spitting in a player's face or pushing a referee, or it's endangering a player, I don't really see the necessity to send players off. At the end of the day, I would look at it as, if I'm a referee, I'm paying attention to that game. Stevens is on the ball. You've got Wilshere who's literally ripping the shirt off him.
Yeah, literally. And
quite
he
literally.
yanked it,
So, especially at that point during the game, I'd apply that action from Stevens into context. It's like, well, obviously for straight, he's got a guy, he's literally on his back for a good 10 seconds. He's going to react like that. That wasn't a kind of shove or push that would endanger Wilshere. It's not something that's going to get him
He's not going to go to the hospital. He's not going to be hurt. You
have a firm word, you book them both, and then you kill it at that point. Obviously, you're going to have players that are going to rush in. They're going to try to influence you, try to say, okay, you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that, send him off. But at that point, it's your job as a referee to kind of calm the game down. And sending a player, especially in those circumstances, because Southampton players are going to feel
Of course, and I think what's frustrating is that you get, if I punch a player in the face, or I push him in the chest or head, it's the same punishment. And I think punching a man and pushing a man is so different from each other. We'll take this call. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Good afternoon, it's Daryl from Middlesbrough, mate.
Hello, Daryl, how are you?
I'm alright, mate. Thanks very much.
Good. What was your views on that Arsenal victory this afternoon? Were you entertained by that game?
Yes, I was rather surprised on how well Southampton did to get 2 goals. They gave a very good game. Both teams went hammering tongs at it. I think it was a great game of football. And I think, obviously, Arsenal had the more advantage after they won 4-1 against CSK Moscow during the week, so they had a bit more of an advantage. Southampton, well, I hate to say I can see it going downhill from here, because a lot of people have already said that they're probably going to get relegated. Preferably, I actually don't want them to get relegated, but football's a funny game these days.
I think with the Southampton, it got to a point now where they didn't kick on.
No.
And there's a kind of like, when players don't feel motivated, I mean, I don't want to speak as if I have that kind of insight, but when players don't see progression at some point, where you've been at that same level, that kind of mid-table, kind of pushing for Europa League spot, you're not bringing in players. Obviously, they have a structure, they have a model for their club in terms of bringing players in terms of the coaching, in terms of the scouting, so on and so on. But you're not bringing in players to kick you up a level.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of changes with the managers.
There isn't. Also, is it Pellegrino? Was it before? Yeah. If you're going to sack him and bring in, I mean, Mark Hughes doesn't fit the model that Southampton have been producing. They're sort of the default of their club, the types of player, the types of manager, the style of football they want to play. Mark Hughes isn't that. He's been brought in to save them, but he's been brought in too late. Like that sacking should have happened 5 weeks, 6 weeks. 2 months earlier. So I feel sorry for the fans. I always do feel sorry for fan groups. And Southampton, I don't think their fan base hurt anybody. They don't think it wrong. But they're kind of like, I feel sorry for them. However, as a football club, I hold them accountable, because either Pellegrino was the right man, that's why you kept him so long. You might as well have kept him into the end of the season and let him rebuild a little bit, not in the same way, but like Rafa Benitez did with Newcastle. We came in, couldn't save them, and then stayed. Let him rebuild again. If that's the kind of man you want, stick with your model. What I'm confused with Southampton is they've now gone for Mark Hughes. If they go down, which it looks like they're going to, do you then sack him, or do you use him to try and get you back into the Premier League? But he can't play the football, on the style of football, that you scout for, that you purchased, the way your academy plays football. They've got a very ingrained identity as a football club they're trying to create. It doesn't make much sense, and maybe that feeds into the players as well. Hang on, what's going on? This doesn't fit with what we're being told, doesn't fit with how I was sold about the club. The academy players, okay, we're going to be taught to play beautiful football in the academy, we're going to play for Mark Hughes, and it's going to be...
I don't want to be... I want to put Mark Hughes in the same box of like a Big Sam or a David Moyes. I have seen Mark Hughes teams be capable of playing football. But I do agree with you in a sense of like, you've had Pochettino, you've had Puel, you've had Pellegrino, you've had obviously Ron Koeman as well. Like, you've had managers that, even if they have their differences amongst one another, there's still that thread in terms of the kind of football that they coach. And I feel like, Mark Hughes is a deviation now. Again, you're looking at the rationale. Did you deviate because you've seen a decline in how Southampton are plummeting, and you just like, okay, even if it's a short-term thing, let's just deal with it now, and then, if he keeps us up, we'll let him go. Or even if, we go down, we let him go immediately, because then it's like, okay,
we need to go bring in the right man for the job. Now, I get that. Darryl, really appreciate your call. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers.
Take care.
No worries.
We've got some more calls ready to come through. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Ricky Taylor from Borough.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I just want to ring up and say, why are we all getting excited about Arsenal winning at Southampton? These are teams we should be beating no matter what.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many. So who's getting excited?
All over Twitter, everyone's like, we've at the end of the season, do we not do this year in, year out, straight up all the way through the middle of the season, February, November?
We sat here when we were off air and said the same thing, that this is the time of the year where lots of Arsenal fans build up this false sense of security. When there's no pressure, Arsenal will go and win. They might even win their last eight games because there's no pressure in the Premier League, and then it's next year's 8. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I would celebrate the victory. Well done, but I keep.
We all celebrate the victory.
But I keep saying this to Gooners: do not get ahead of yourselves. Not with Wenger as your manager. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. So you're seeing a lot of that on Twitter.
Everywhere, it's not just that, it's in my hometown. I live in Middlesbrough, you know what I mean? There's a lot of Arsenal fans up here, and you get it all the time. We've just done we could go and do like Wigan. We've done Wigan, but we're not performing against the Man U's, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Chelseas. Yeah, we had the fluke against Chelsea 3-1. Look what they did when they came back in the second time.
Do you know
Man City's tear us apart. 3-1 in 2 games, 6-2 with 2 games against Man City.
Sorry, it's Ricky, isn't it? Ricky.
It is, yeah.
All right, nice to meet you. I'm Chris. Do you know what I find really interesting about what you're saying is because and this is just indicative of like the whole community. I go on my timeline right now on Twitter as an example, and I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't see the majority of Arsenal fans getting excited. I think if anything, the kind of Twitter sphere that I'm a part of in terms of football, it's almost like the complete reverse, where it's just like we almost don't champion anything. Like, I know the most pessimistic football fans, like in humanity, and they're all Arsenal fans.
You need to hook Ricky up.
Yeah. Maybe move to London. Move to London, and you'll see maybe it's just a different thing.
I think I need to. Another thing as well, I was wanting to say, what do people do when you cannot stay after this season? I don't care if you win Europa. I've been a die-hard Arsenal fan. I'm a true gooner since I've been 14. No, for 24 years I've been an Arsenal fan. I've got them tattooed on me. I proudly go everywhere I go and say I'm a proud gooner. But this guy's now got to go. I don't care if he wins Europe and gets us back in Champions League. Let him go on the high, give him his shove, but he's got to be packed off now.
At what point, like what season or what year were you sure that you wanted Wenger gone? I'm interested.
Me, about 2008. It started going after we lost when we lost the Champions League final to Bayern Munich, to Barcelona.
Wow!
It's like he slowly didn't care no more. It's like it's slowly every year he cares less and less about the club.
What? 12 years?
12
years ago.
Wow! Yeah, you definitely.
Man, I wasn't even shaving then.
What was I doing in 2006?
I remember because Middlesbrough, my hometown, were in the Europa League against Seville.
Yeah, bloody Macronelli or whatever his name
Macaroni.
is. Macaroni. The bald guy.
Massimo Macaroni.
Yeah, I was living. That was amazing. I was living in a house in East London with four smoggies. You'll understand the term smoggy, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And we were in this room, and when he scored the winning goal to go put Middlesbrough through to that final. I've never seen a bedroom get destroyed and smashed to pieces. They were so happy, they were smashing up their wardrobes, and I was looking at them thinking, oh my god, this guy jumped on his bed so bad it all collapsed, and I was like this, just holding my drink thinking I'm scared, I don't know what's going to happen. But no, look, that's a long time to have wanted him out for though. I mean,
I've been 11, 12 years, get Wenger out, get him out. Listen, I know DT and troops are doing what they can, with the campaign to try to get him to go, listen.
But you're the real founder.
Long enough.
You're the founder.
Hey, can I ask you a question then? When you see the Emirates, I don't care what the official stats say, they will add season ticket sales into that. There was easily only 40,000 odd people there today. Do you think those people that have turned their back on the club in terms of going there...
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Why? Because
as a club we've got to support each other.
But listen, let me ask you this question. So I wouldn't say this, right? If I'm dead against whether I love my club or not, if I'm dead against a football club, I'm dead against the ideology of a business, I'm dead against the ideology of anything. If you give Arsenal Football Club your money, all you were doing is feeding that snake whose head you want removed. If all your Arsenal fans keep paying in and they keep making the same amount of money, Arsenal Football Club are never going to make any changes because it's like you're moaning me. I'll tell you this, I was thinking this through this game. How does Wenger and the board feel when they look at that beautiful stadium they built that was meant to take you to the forefront of football? How would it make them feel to see themselves sat in 6th in the Europa League with a half-empty stadium? Them people not turning up, that's probably more powerful than any banner or any protest anybody can do, because that's visual. You can see that. It's in the atmosphere.
That also comes and impacts on our players. If we don't turn up, they don't think they've got our support. So we can't expect them to go and put that crest on the chest like we do every Saturday and Sunday and every Europa match, every Champions League match,
Ricky,
and go out and play. You can't expect them to if we're not backing them.
Ricky,
I'm not saying we don't back the club. We don't back Wenger at the moment. And Stan Kroenke's got to go as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Do his hunting channel.
Ricky, can I ask you a question? Do you think...
Go on, mate.
Any of that...
Pardon?
Do you think any of that kind of has to do with where you're from as a fan? Because I've been die-hard Arsenal ever since I was... No. But what? It's not about who you support. What I mean to say is that I feel like there's... Maybe it's a London thing as well. Like, in terms of entitlement, maybe the culture. Like, I think... You know, I'm originally from Paris. I've been living in London since I was like 6 years old. But I didn't really understand the whole North versus South thing and kind of the different kinds of football fans and if that plays a part. Like,
I think it does. Like, I'm a Man United fan from London, and my friends from Manchester that support. Being from Manchester, like people I know that I live there, culturally they're different people. Yeah. And there are subtle differences.
I think if you're more close to the club, like you live around the club or you live in close proximity with it, I think you might have a different view because you see it more day to day, know how things are run.
And remember, like,
up in the northeast of England, just like we're going down the tunnel and fast.
Ricky, on top of that as well, don't get me wrong, like, I'm actually in agreement with you in terms of it affects players when they see half-empty stadiums. Like I was at the return leg for.
Let's face it. In the George days, would Harvard have been half-empty? Want them gone? We'd have still turned up and said, "Listen, we want you gone, but we'll turn up."
Yeah, but see,
now because we're losing the team, we're losing all our.
Sorry, mate, I don't mean to talk over you.
For me as well, sorry, Fred, but another thing I've got to pick with you as well. You just put on your thing there. Welbeck shines. How can you say this kid shines?
Well, I mean, he shined today, right?
He shined today.
And
one day. The only one of the time I can remember a really good Welbeck goal was against Man United when he scored against them.
Yeah, but he did well today. But
if Welbeck was such a good superstar, yeah, we wouldn't need Lacazette's and Adebayongs. Adebayongs. We wouldn't need the Ozils to put the cross in. This guy's nothing. Why are we paying this guy a wage?
But I don't think we want to confuse. Listen, at the end of the day, we're talking about one game.
Why isn't he playing Lacazette and Aubameyang up front together?
Well, if I was a manager, and I'm not a manager, but if I was also a manager, I'm looking at, okay, we've got a tough away fixture in another time zone.
Next to Man U, coming up, haven't we?
In another time zone, no, but we're playing CSK Moscow. We can't play Aubameyang on Thursday.
No, we can't, no.
Do you know what I mean? And Lacazette, we want him starting. Remember, he's only just got back to fitness as well.
Yeah.
So you don't want him starting this game. And bearing in mind, he played.
A game like Southampton should be a warm-up game for Lacazette.
But I'm looking at it from both sides. If you look right now, whether you want to win it or not, I think Wenger's going to take the same approach this year as Jose Mourinho took last year. If you look at Man United's last sort of 5 or 6 Premier League games, we barely won one because he gave up on that and he rested and rotated to make sure players were at the top of their game, fully rested and fit and raring to go in the Europa League games. Because whether Arsenal fans want to admit it or not, if you win the Europa League, which there is a good chance you can do it, you're a good team. If you win the Europa League, you take an abysmal season and actually you take some solace from it. You're back in the Champions League, which means if Wenger, whether he does or doesn't stay, it means you've got a chance of signing better players.
We know he's not going now. We know he's staying next year.
But being back in the Champions League this year gives you a better chance of buying better players to keep yourselves in the Champions League, and then that helps you signing a new manager.
And also keeping players.
Yeah, and keeping players.
Personally, the only reason I want to win the Europa League is that means we've had a better season than Tottenham. That's the only reason I care about Europa League now. It means we've took some silverware.
But then I would agree with you, because last year I said the same thing. We finished 6th or 5th. I can't even remember now, but we won 2 trophies. So, and because we got in the Champions League, we done better than the team that finished 2nd because we had trophies to show, and we were still in that Champions League. So it all becomes. And I get where you're coming from, mate. Look, really do appreciate that call. Thank you very much. Cheers. That's probably the longest call we've done with a fan, 9 minutes. But you know, if you ring us up with questions for us, absolutely do that. Get it done. We're going to take a look at the One Football app while we speak now. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang voted as man of the match. 2,618 votes. Danny Welbeck second with 830.
That's insane.
It's insulting, actually. I know Danny Welbeck's
offensive.
not. I know he's
offensive.
not as good.
That's offensive. Listen, Danny Welbeck finished 2 goals, 2 decisive goals, and an assist.
And his assist was majestic.
And it wasn't like a normal assist. Like that was if any other player of like the highest, if Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo, Kane, any other player did that, we'd be ranting and raving over that.
If Sanchez did that touch yesterday, Arsenal fans would be kicking off, I wish we kept him. Do you think, though, there's this element in football now? I was talking about this with friends yesterday at my brother's wedding, that there are lots of football fans now that don't really support teams, they support players.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So you've got people now that are like Lacazette fans or they're Aubameyang fans.
I'm seeing it massively in Manchester United. Like, I feel like, I know guys, personally speaking, I'm not going to name any names, that they will see a lineup that is good enough to beat whoever's in front of him, but because Martial isn't starting, or Shaw isn't starting, or Pogba isn't starting, it's an issue. It's a problem, as opposed to, well, no, Lingard has just scored a great goal.
No, of course, you get that. you get that, but it's a strange new world for football, and I think maybe our generation needs to get. I don't know whether we should get used to it though.
But do you know what? You say that, and I'll try to say this really quickly. You say that, but I think about how I started supporting, like watching football, and it wasn't a team. I was saying to you, it was Ian Wright, it was Nicolas Anelka, it was Patrick Vieira. It was players that made me love the club, and then naturally...
Yeah, so that's where I'm so different. It was my dad was like, pick a club, and you just pick a club. So it's the club you support, over, which is why I always put more faith in the manager than I do the players, because he's the head of that, and I'll support the club and the entity over any of the players that are here for a short period of time. But sorry, we had a call come through. What's your name, buddy?
Tom.
Hello, Tom. Who do you support, mate?
Arsenal fan.
All right, mate. Give us your view on that performance today from Welbeck, the defending. Overall, you happy with that from the Gunners today?
Going forward, I think we've improved. I think 3 goals against Southampton at home is a good amount. It's just the 2 that we concede. All our problems are at the back.
When you say improved from where?
Well, improved from when we lost 4 games in a row. We've now won 6 in a row. Okay.
Do you feel like... okay, maybe it's just the way I interpreted that comment, because the way I personally would define improved, and that doesn't make yours any less right, would be, well, this is what we should be doing anyways. What Ricky was saying, like, this is scoring 3 goals against a side in the bottom 3 at home, if you're Arsenal Football Club, is the absolute standard. So, of course, we're improved in form, but I think maybe we're just operating at a level which we should be at. So... But yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
The attack's not the problem; it's the defence. Yeah. I believe. Like, it was abysmal. You got that player up front for them who's got 2 goals in 50 games, and Staffy lets him walk to the front post. Which I can't even. Yeah, and he got in a few times behind. I'm not sure. So did Tadic a few times behind us centre backs. Okay. And it's poor.
All right, so. What would a success, if you were to like go back to the beginning of the season, go back to August, what was a successful Arsenal season look like for you?
With the 2 big Manchester clubs always going to dominate, and nobody really thought Liverpool would do this well, but I would have taken top 4 with a trophy.
Okay, like FA Cup, Europa League.
Cup, Europa League, one of the 2.
Okay.
Well, I get that's your season. You're both Arsenal fans. I've asked this question of Liverpool fans a lot recently, and they kind of, the answers differ. Some have said this new idea of, I don't care about winning trophies, football is now just about playing entertaining football. I don't buy that for a second. I think you're just saying that because you're worried Klopp isn't going to win you a major trophy.
Yeah.
As Arsenal fans, though, I get the point. The Manchester clubs, the money, their power, their dominance. Chelsea has got a lot of money as well. Magic one time, you can get your team competitive again. What's the expectations now? Is it, and this is the, I get the protests, I get the wanting Wenger out, but what if you bring in, let's just throw a manager out there, whether it's Simeone, Allegri, Jardine, whoever it is, you bring the manager in you all want, you're all in universal agreement he's in, you give him 2 years to sort things out. What do you want him to deliver? What's the expectation in your mind?
I definitely have my opinion on it, but I want Tom's opinion.
What's your view, Tom?
Well, exactly. What is the expectation when you've got 2 big Manchester clubs with unlimited money? I would like a solid, like when we went 20 years in the top 4, we could have done better then because there wasn't as much money. But I think top 4 and a trophy is a good expectation. Now there is one manager I would really want to see Arsenal get is Antonio Conte. I think he's passionate. He'd come in, he'd make signings, and he'd really push for Arsenal to compete.
He's got a good week. Mate, we're going to carry on this conversation, but thank you very much for your call, Tom. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
what's your view?
Yeah, it's similar. It's in the sense of, okay, it's like a SWOT analysis, right? It's what are our own strengths and weaknesses? What can we do around that? But also, what are the threats? And at the end of the day, Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea to a lesser degree, are greater threats in terms of our challenge for the title. So yeah, I think bare minimum, it's almost like the Football Manager thing when you set your objectives at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, there's almost that. Yeah,
it's that. It's like, well, at bare minimum for me, top 4, bare minimum. That's knowing what Spurs are doing. That's knowing what Liverpool are doing.
Yeah,
and I feel like if you can, it's like you do in increments. So I use Atletico as an example. Right now, even though they're in the Europa League this season, which I think is like exceptional circumstances, it's like a one-off. I consider them an elite Champions League caliber side.
Yes. Now,
they didn't just get there overnight. Like, they don't come from money. They don't necessarily come from a culture of winning like Barcelona and Real Madrid do. Teams like Valencia have been more successful in recent times. Seville have been more successful than Atletico over the last few years. But it's, gradually building their status up in La Liga domestically, winning the Europa League on a couple of occasions. Then once they started edging in there, they start facing teams. I remember in 2012, I think it would have been, when they faced Chelsea in the European Super Cup, being able to demonstrate that we can actually play the best of the best and look good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, from I think it was 2013 onwards, you've got them breaking the Europa League between Barcelona and Real Madrid, which was a crazy win. And just to show that they just weren't doing that in Spain, they then also get to the final
twice. No,
it's been 3 years,
and I get that. Do you think with I know we've got a caller coming through on Discord in a moment, so we will speak to you. It's a good discussion though. In terms of, I got asked this question in the summer, and this is why again I'm not angry about Man United's season, because I was told what does success look like, and it's clear out there. It's the video still up, and I just said, cement ourselves into the top 4 this year because we weren't in it last. And a trophy, and that's success. We're close to doing that this year. If we finish second and, God willing, win the FA Cup, I'm really happy with that season. My expectations next year with what we're going to bring in would then be, this year we need to be competing for that title, which means with a game or 2 to go, we need to be able to still win it. When I say that's competing for a title, that's being in a title race, not 5 games to go, you're out of it. That means you're a long way off. So for me, it's a case of, that's the expectations and growth, and I think that's one thing I would implore Arsenal fans to sit around and think about. And you haven't all got to agree with each other, because you're always going to get that's the great thing with football. There's opinions and everybody can debate them. The issue I sometimes get with everybody that is Wenger out, and I don't disagree with them wanting him gone, it's who should come in, and there's a complete vast opinion on who, and then it's what's the expectations. And some people are like, well, we're Arsenal, we should be winning the league. And it's like, how realistic is that? I mean, I actually think we could get to a stage, and I think you said there about building Arsenal back up is important. I think we could get to a stage over the next 3 or 4 years with the coaches we have at the clubs and the money and the prowess and the ability the Premier League's got, where you could actually get a season where between 6th and 1st there might only be 10 or 12 points. And then you're in a stage where it's, I've finished 6th, but I've actually done quite well this year. Like, if you look at it, and I just think football fans need to sit down and honestly adjust their expectations of what do I really, what do I expect, and what's realistic in the current football climate.
The thing about that, and I'm going to skim over this because obviously I'm worried that we've got callers coming in, is that what we also can't do is we can't get into the danger of dismissing the emotive part of the game and the emotive part of being a fan.
Yes.
Part of that is tied in with the kind of football that you're in. Like, I'm a 30-year-old Arsenal fan that started supporting Arsenal in 1997. I've only ever known Wenger ball.
Yeah.
I've only ever known quality football up until maybe 2012, where there was just a dip in terms of the quality of football that Arsenal played. So, and you also got to understand that not all teams, because we get kind of in our heads and think about like the elite teams and successful teams, but you have teams like Atletico Bilbao, for example, where they have an identity.
Yeah.
And that expands to what they do on the football pitch. So any kind of managerial appointment that's going to come in has to align with the identity that makes us really love the game. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, right? Like, you're not going to buy for a minute that a Liverpool fan doesn't want their club and Klopp to deliver titles. But Liverpool are a team where at their most successful, they were playing a brand of football that kind of captured them and the same for Man United fans.
It was interesting though. So I don't remember the great Liverpool teams.
Yeah.
What I've read about them is though that they were quite boring.
Okay.
So again, I could be really okay. Dalglish and those players going forward, but it was like they go 1-0 up, and then they just keep passing the ball around the back, pass it back to the goalkeeper using the pass back rule. Now that might be an over exaggeration from some bitter supporters at that time. But I don't think it was like the football we're seeing now from Jurgen Klopp.
Of course.
So again, I think it's that balance between, and also nostalgia plays a part. Like sometimes you think things, my grandmother always used to tell me that the summers were longer when she was a kid, and it always snowed at Christmas, and it just didn't. I mean, the records prove that now. No disrespect, God rest your soul, but it's the truth. We've got a call coming through from Discord, and then we're going to speak to you about that very special offer about World Cup shirts. Who's coming through, Jay?
Hello.
Hello, how are you, sir? What's your name?
My name's Adeyemi.
Hello, Adeyemi. Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Give us your thoughts on today's performance, and then we'll ask you a few questions. Happy with the way you played today?
I'm not happy with it, to be honest.
Why weren't you happy with today?
We just scraped a win against Southampton. We were pretty terrible.
I get that, but they're fighting relegation. They're teams that are in that situation are sometimes more up for it than at any other time in the year because they become desperate.
I don't really care.
You don't care?
No.
Why don't you care about that?
I want Wenger out.
I get you want Wenger out, but why would you not care about something that's ingrained within football that I think should be respected? Why would you not care about the way Southampton feel and play? He left. Look, he disconnected his call. I appreciate he just wants Wenger out. I appreciate he doesn't care about other clubs. But I'm going to be really fair to Arsenal here. When you play a team in a relegation fight...
it doesn't matter who you are. The best of clubs, the absolute best of clubs. When you're fighting a team that's... Because at that point, it's not even just about football anymore. It's it's status. It's
yeah.
I may not be a Premier League footballer next year. It may affect players and teams financially.
Yeah. They a lot of them have some have relegation release clauses, but a lot of them get paid less if they get relegated. It's all in the. There's a lot riding for these players, and they up their game again. Shane Long clearly again. Some people will blame the Arsenal defenders, but there's something about relegation teams. It's why every year there's always a special moment. You see a team that saves themselves. They celebrate like they've won the league. That shows how much passion's there. That has to be taken into account when you're playing a team who's got nothing left to play for in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think, and you also listen. Arsenal are not playing for anything in this game.
No,
there's that too, and the players that are likely to play on Thursday against Moscow. So obviously we're talking about Cech, we're talking about Mustafi, we're talking about Bellerin, we're talking about El Neni, we're talking about Xhaka more than El Neni. Those players, do you think they're going to go into that game with the same kind of intensity that they would in terms of Southampton? Do you think they're going to go into that Southampton tie with the intensity and the commitment that they would for a team, for a game that matters?
No, and they never will. So all that needs to be taken into consideration. We do have a special offer I mentioned. UK Soccer Shop is the name of the company. The information is in the description below. You can get up to £25 off of an England shirt ready for the World Cup coming forward. So if you are going to buy one, whether you're buying one for your kids, whether you're buying one for you, your partner, your friend, or a present, don't pay full price in the shops like everybody else will. Check out our exclusive link below, brought to you by FanPark Live, where you can get up to £25 off an official England kit. This isn't some weird one with like 5 lions on it or anything. Do you know what I mean? You can put it through. Is someone on my Discord line, Jay? Who is it? How much does a pizza cost? It really depends where you're ordering it from, sir. We're not a pizza delivery place, though, mate. Anything else you'd like to say? Jay, don't put these people through to me.
I'm hungry now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but take my ears off so I can't hear him. Don't leave a... I just got this random kid talking about pizza in my ears, and you guys can't even hear him. I thought he was live on the air.
And I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I am feeling hungry. I am feeling hungry. Cool. So make sure we do that. By the way, just see all nights 0-0 between Chelsea and West Ham. We will be doing a half-time and full-time show on that via FanPark Live as well. I've got a call coming through.
Oh.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, it's Mohammed.
Hello, Mohammed. Who do you support, mate?
I actually support United.
Oh, okay, cool.
Good.
What would you like to say about this Arsenal game today?
I mean, it's just average Arsenal. Concede a lot at the back, score a few goals, and same old, really. But what I don't understand is that, I mean, Arsenal have got a brilliant attacking front line, but I mean, it's evident where the troubles are, and it's in the defensive mid, and it's the whole of the defence, and I'm not sure why they don't sort it out. I mean, if you just look at what we did last season, we had a terrible season in the league. We went and got Matic. I mean, although City won by a landslide, we almost licked third to secure second. And also, if you just look at Liverpool, they were in danger of not finishing in the top four. What did they do? They spent 80 million on Van Dijk. I mean, I just think that's what Arsenal need to do. They just need to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of personnel, I definitely agree. I feel like if, you know, there should be quality, should be matched in every position. So if you're going to sign top-class strikers, top-class attacking midfielders, then you need to sign top-class central midfielders, top-class centre-halves, top-class defenders in general. Why they're not doing that, I don't know. Maybe they just don't rate the players that may be available. You may ask yourself, okay, well, if a team of Liverpool standing could get Van Dijk, why can't Arsenal? So on and so on.
Money. I honestly feel it's Arsenal not prepared to pay. I could never see Arsenal Football Club paying £75 million for any centre back.
Well, you say that, but we're linked with Oblak, and apparently, again, it could just be rumours. It could just be agents.
Oblak won't want to come to Arsenal.
I mean,
see, mate, do you know why I disagree with that when it comes to transfers? As a Man United fan as well, in the last few years, and I'll name these off, and I know this more about my club than I do other clubs, but when we were linked with Di Maria, Falcao, Pogba, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, Matic last year, and there's one other player as well, Alexis Sanchez. When those links first got put out there, we were told by even when they were like legitimate links and we knew we were involved, everyone, including the majority of Man United fans, that won't happen. No way are they coming to us. So I don't ever believe that. No one would have said Aubameyang would be going to Arsenal a year ago.
Yeah,
no
even
one.
When you sign Ozil, no one thought we'd sign Ozil. Sorry?
No, go on.
Yeah. When we signed Ozil, no one would have thought a month prior we could have signed Ozil. When we signed Alexis, no one would have thought a month prior we could have signed him. Same thing from Aubameyang. That was probably the most surprising one out the lot, to be fair, because he's a player that's been linked to Real Madrid and whatnot. And we've also got to put ourselves in players' shoes. Firstly, all of this is speculation. We don't know what kind of thing motivates a player of Oblak. I don't think he's that profile of a player where he would turn his nose up at Arsenal. Like, he's not a Neymar. He's not a Messi or Ronaldo, so on and so on.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a guessing game of how it's going to happen. Again, like you said, I don't think Arsenal will be prepared to do it. But if we said, okay, we're going to double your wages, which Arsenal could easily do, provided that we could provide them with Champions League football as well, it's like, well, you may have more of a chance of being competitive in La Liga because there's only really 3 teams in there as opposed to 5 or 6 in the Premier League. But you're playing at a bigger stage because the Premier League is bigger than La Liga. Not better, but just bigger.
It is bigger.
But it is bigger. We're giving you Champions League football. You're living in London. We're paying you more. You know, provided that in terms of his personal life, his family situation, so on and so on, that he's okay with that.
Yeah.
Arsenal could easily.
Yeah, no, they could. They could definitely. I think Arsenal, you know, it's like Thomas Lemar in the summer. If you offered the right money sooner, you didn't even need to offer 92 million. You could have got him for less than that. You offer the right money sooner. Thomas Lemar was one of the most sought after properties last year. Lots of clubs were interested, and Arsenal were very close to getting him. Riyad Mahrez was willing to join. You know, the man nearly went to Man City in the end. So it shows the quality of player that they're able to. It's about at the end of the day, it comes down to putting. If that's the valuation the club sets. So look, the Alexis Sanchez situation. United got him over Man City because we were prepared. Yes, via a swap deal, we were prepared to meet Arsenal's valuation, and we were prepared to pay the player what he felt he deserves to be paid. End of the day, the last 2 games, he definitely demonstrated that he's worth that money. Was it 3 assists, creating another goal and scoring one? Like, essentially, it was a free transfer in many, many ways. But it comes down to money. It's about doing what the clubs say. You know, if you come to my house and say how much to buy your house off me, and I say it's 350 grand, if you offer me 270, and I'm in no need to sell my house, I'm never going to agree to a cheaper sale. You either pay me that amount or more. Otherwise, I'm just going to close the door. It's as simple as that. Mate, really appreciate your call. Thank you.
Cool.
Take care, mate. Still 0-0 in the Chelsea versus West Ham game. If you haven't done so already, please download the Ultimate Football Fan application. You can do this via Google Play, the App Store, or via our description. But in the description below, there's a link. You can do it really quick and easy. But if you go into wherever you download your apps from, just type in the Ultimate Football Fan. You will see us there. And the great thing is, yes, there's some content on there you may see here on YouTube, but there's lots of exclusive content that goes up each week, and there's more and more coming. You can only get that on the app, whether it's Mr. DT, Mark Goldbridge, Flex, whether it's Louis from 100% Chelsea, the 5th Official, whoever it may be you want to watch, there is exclusive content on that app that you can get absolutely nowhere else. So go make sure you get that downloaded. Jay, do we have any more calls, mate? Yeah, put them through. We'll do another call or 2. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Emmanuel.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Who you support, bruv?
Arsenal.
Good. What's on your mind? What do you want to say?
Well, I think that it was a very stressful game to watch, in my opinion. Because we made a lot of lucky mistakes at the back.
I loved it. I don't support Arsenal, though, but I loved it. It was great. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but when we got the goal, I was very happy, obviously, because of considering the type of the players that we used. No Ozil, no Mkhitaryan, or Lacazette starting. So I was happy.
Okay.
To get the goals.
What would you like if everyone was available? What would be like your starting lineup? In particular, like the midfield and the attack.
In the attack, I would go Aubameyang and Lacazette, a 2-striker formation.
Okay. In
the midfield, I would go left mid, probably Ozil. In the 2 centre mids, I would go Xhaka and Wilshere. And then on the right, I'd go Mkhitaryan.
Wilshere and Ramsey?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your...
No, Wilshere and Xhaka.
Wilshere, oh, sorry. That's what I'm saying, like, Wilshere ahead of Ramsey, like, in terms of who'd start in your centre mid. You don't feel like Ramsey's kind of, like, been outplayed him recently?
I think Ramsey's played really well, but I'd play him for Europa instead.
Well, that's the most important games now, though. Like, the Europa League, I mean, I look at it like this with Ramsey. I think he's a quality player. I think he scores goals when he's given the freedom to do it. He also, you can't perform like he did from any football club. If you put in a performance like he did, the next real competitive game, so today doesn't count, you have to play. I think it sends a wrong message out to a team. Unless there is a specific reason, there's a technical reason. You know, you might play Barcelona and think, well, I've got to sacrifice Ramsey because I need to bring in a player that can man-mark Messi. Or I might need to do something technical. Other than a reason like that, when you're playing away to Moscow, there is no one that you need to man-mark like that or tactically change. I think it sends a wrong message out for a player to perform like that, score those goals and be the man and then not be in the next team. I think it sends the wrong message out across the squad. It just says to people, I can work hard, perform, and I still don't get a starting berth. I don't like that kind of attitude. I think he deserves to be in the team against CSK Moscow because he was your man of the match the other night and he's pretty much got you through to the semis.
Yeah. I agree
with
that.
Good. Look, really do appreciate your call here on FanPark Live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Top man.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, it's still 0-0 in the game between Chelsea and West Ham. Having a go of it. Those are still not safe themselves from the relegation fight, are they? So, what'd you say, mate? Cool. There we go. Well, listen, everybody, really do appreciate you all tuning into the stream. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Doing yourself for the first time. Enjoyed that. Good football talk, and that's what I like. A nice bit of good football. And there's probably like 100 more topics I want to talk to you about as well. Where we were chatting off air as well that we'd love to do on air.
We'll do that some other time.
But time is a restraint. As mentioned already, please make sure you download the OneFootball app. Really important to us here on that show that gets done. I was actually at my brother's wedding yesterday. Someone actually asked me how's the hangover. I actually don't know how I got out of bed. I counted because I'm really funny at this. I did like 13 Jaeger bombs last night, plus everything else I was drinking. And I woke up at 9 o'clock and I was right out in deep Essex. I had to drive right down to Surrey where I live and then back up to here in northwest London. It took me like 3.5, 4 hours. But it's all right. I'm in a good space. But everyone that was there was like, yeah, like all these people. I've got the OneFootball app, and I was like, I didn't know you guys watched.
That's nice.
It was nice.
Do you know what was really cool actually? On Thursday when we played Moscow, because I've got my new iPhone X recently, and it's the first time I used the AR feature.
It's wicked, isn't it?
Sick.
So if you guys don't know what that is, you can get the starting lineups up, and if you've got a flat surface, like we've got like a big green thing here, you can do it on your carpet, your dining table. You can get via the app, the AR feature, you can put the starting lineups up in 3D in your living room or on your table or in your garden, wherever, and you can look and you can move the phone, you can get up, you click on the players, it shows their stats and stuff. It's amazing. So it's really, we actually want to try and integrate that into the show, but we're just working out a way of getting that done. But yeah, download the OneFootball app. It's great. It really supports the show. Thank you all for tuning in as ever. Take care. God bless.
No worries. It's been a pleasure, man.
And we'll see you all soon. Bye bye.
Peace.